All right, just a little quick update. I'm on my way back from Purdue, headed to a meeting with our banker. So we're meeting with him to talk about the future with WB Horticulture, so the new venture with the greenhouses. I met with the owner of the greenhouses. We discussed the purchase agreement, and he kind of threw that curveball of, well, I don't want to sell or finance anymore, which that was like, okay, so we got to figure out another option, and we're going to do that quickly because we want to get this thing rolling. And so we called up a few people, talked to our bank, and here we are. So we're meeting with them to talk about funding options with them, and the goal is to potentially the goal would be to get funding for the greenhouses. We need about 55 grand, and then from there we can purchase it. Now, I don't think they're going to give us all 55 grand. I think it's going to be a percentage of that, maybe 75%, and then we're going to be going to our uncle for an investment. We're going to be looking for an investment or slash fund of something similar for the extra needed expenses, the startup stuff, for the transportation, the upgrades in the plastics, stuff like that. And then potentially talk to him about land investment, and then we'll talk to the bank about that today too, about what it looks like to have a land, a property investment, a property loan versus an asset loan, a small business. So we're looking at those, talk to them about all the options, see what they can do, and we'll go from there. I'm really excited. I was up till 5:30 in the morning working on this, just kind of running through the business model, the business plan, putting some projections. So basically the first summer, our thoughts are we'll get it purchased in January, February, we spend deconstructing, getting ready to ship. And then end of February, we ship it back with the trucking company to burn. We spend all of March getting it set up, getting it ready to go, get the water lines set up, and then by end of March, early April, we're able to start stocking the plants, and we can start looking at that next summer. So then the main avenues of revenue are Wilson Brothers Lawn and Landscape are buying plants from WB Horticulture, outsource it or selling B2B to other contractors who need wholesale plants for their projects, and we deliver it, we do all that kind of stuff, storing it for them. And then the major thing for this next summer would also be a mums crop. And so we put together a production of different sizes of mums, some inside the greenhouse, some outside. And I think we can do about 11 or 12,000 mums. And we push those through online sales, through B2B, B2C, big box. We sell them all. And they have about a 33 to 43% margin, depending on if we ship them, which is pretty good. So, and I think we got the land that we can do that with our own land. So, so then I also ran through all the financial aspects of getting it ready for winter, and that's where things get pricey. We're looking at another $150,000 to winterize the greenhouses and prep everything for full-size winter growth. But what that is, that's all one-time purchase, amortized over that 5 years depreciation. It's not terrible, and it's producing really good income. Because what we do is we take, like, let's say a hosta. We take a hosta plant, we take a cutting, a small a leaflet, a rooted cutting from a hosta, and you could take 1 3-gallon hosta and probably get 15 cuttings, 20 cuttings. You root those, get them growing, and then you get them to 1 gallon, you get them to 2 to 3 gallon sizing, and then you can resell them. And so that's it. You just have to store them in your greenhouse over winter and grow them up to that next size. But it's a really, really cool way to then prep for the next year of plants. And because what we could do is we could do greenhouses stocked full of perennials and annuals for the coming season that we would use, and we could sell and we could ship online sales. And then if we could just learn the greenhouse, we can learn that business on that level, and then we can look at, okay, how do we make this more profitable? How do we add better plants? How do we grow from seedlings? How do we grow from different cuttings and make it even more and more profitable? So, because basically what we're trying to do is taking Wilson Brothers Lawn and Landscape. We're finding we deal with wholesalers. How can we cut out a little bit of a middleman that we have to deal with and take that margin, bring it into the business? And so, WB Horticulture, Wilson Brothers Lawn and Landscape are in direct partnership and owned by both of us. And so, and it's not that the extra margin is going to Wilson Brothers. It's actually, Wilson Brothers is not making any more or less money off of it. I think we're going to save a little bit, and then we'll save on delivery. We're not going to have delivery fees. But the major aspect is we're collecting that revenue on the back end, or on the front end, sorry, from that separate business. So that's a separate entity, separate LLC. But then what that does, we're put together a holding company here in the next couple of years, and then that'll be owned collectively under one. So I'll keep you updated how this meeting goes. We'll probably do a short video with Nate, two of us together, going in, and yeah. One thing also, I think about this channel, I've been listening to some different people talk about, it's called the Solomon's Principle, where your greatest mentor is yourself at like 80, your future self. And Matthew McConaughey talks about it as like, he's got heroes, he's got mentors, but his main hero is his future self. And he's aspiring to be that future self. And then for us, like, what this kind of is like, what would our 80-year-old self look back at this decision? And would they think that was stupid, or was this a wise choice? And from our perspective, and from what we've talked to people, what we've read, what we're looking at, we're pretty excited for this opportunity. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's way cheaper than it could be. And it could lead to a lot of opportunities. And we're going to take this really slow. I mean, we're probably not going to be in full production. Talking about the winter stuff, for probably another 2 to 3 years at least. Because we just want to, once we get this done and the land, those are the only two that we're going to, I think, finance, unless we look at investments with the winterizing. But that's down the road. But for now, it would just be land and the greenhouses. And the rest we're going to bootstrap. So we're only looking at about $170,000 in financed assets that then produce. I mean, minimum this next summer, it looks like from the stuff, it's going to produce between 100 and 200 this next year. And so with the potential to add the winter, that would be 1.2. And then as we grow sales in the summer, and that was pretty, I went pretty safe on our sales for greenhouses. So I'm excited. We're looking at our future business, future self, looking at God. That God, is this something that I think you would be proud of, and that this is for your purpose, we're serving your purpose. And one thing Nate and I gave, the one way we gave this business to him and like this decision, WB Horticulture, Nate and I will not be taking anything money-wise, no checks from the business. It'll all stay in the business, and then for the short term, that'll help it grow. There won't be stress on the business for financial reasons. And then once it's at a point where it's self-sustaining, I mean, even from the beginning, we're gonna tithe and stuff, but we're gonna put a lot of the profits towards giving. We're gonna support missionaries, support people, support opportunities that are serving the Lord. And and that is our mission field. And then we're going to live off of Wilson Brothers Lawn and Landscape. And I think God will bless that. I think this is something that He's given us, and we're stewarding it. We want to serve Him well. And what that also does is at WB Hort, we're bringing in a manager, got some people that might be interested in working with that, and we'll be able to pay them really, really well. So that's the other part of like, pay our employees incredibly well, be incredibly generous, outrageously generous with the profits from that business if God blesses that business, and we will steward it well until it is. That's the thing, where either it fails and we go bankrupt and we continue to figure something else out. I mean, there's never failure, it's just learning. And we're just not going to quit, and so that we're not going to fail, because we're just not going to quit. It just might not be this specific venture. This might not work, and if it doesn't work, guess what? We're 21 and 20 years old, and we'll figure it out, because we're really young. There's not a lot of risk that could be done to our future at this point, which is nice. So it gives us a little more flexibility to move on some of these things fast. But it's calculated. It's a calculated risk. It's not reckless. But I'll keep you updated on the progress. So. Alright, a little video in the dark. Driving back from Bern. A little update on the banking meeting from this morning. Kind of how today went. I was up till 5:30, like I said earlier, working on the business projections, the business analysis. I'm going to kind of redo it, and he gave me some notes, how I could change some things. He's going to do some more after he reads through it. Let me know if it was good or bad. And then, the guy was super nice. We met with him for an hour and a half, and we just went over like, okay, for the asset, how does this work? Is this a possibility? How does it work with you guys to get a loan? And we really walked through it, and it turns out we're probably not going to be able to get a loan from the bank, only because one, it's a startup and there's no assets owned, and you can't really collateralize greenhouses, so they're looking for collateral. How do they make their money back guaranteed if this falls through? And so it's okay. He really then walked us through how we would go about finding private investors through this. And so that's kind of the next step. Then we're going to start calling people, talking to private investors, and trying to get that funding that way. So we're going to look for about 75 grand, which will get us the cost of the greenhouses plus the cost of the transportation and startup costs into WB Hort. And so it's kind of just a capital injection. I think 75 is the minimum. We might look for more than that. We might look for investors that we could get upwards of 100 to 150 to 200,000 in the next 12 months, and we'll go from there to kind of fill that account and start taking some pressure off on how we get some of this stuff rolling. So, but really good meeting. Also talked about Wilson Brothers Lawn and Landscape, and we are setting up lines of credit with the bank. They're also working with us with some inventory things. That was really good too. And then we talked through some future stuff and acquisitions. We're looking at acquiring another company here this spring, and he kind of helped us walk through some things about evaluations of that, and then asset purchase, EBITDA, all that kind of stuff, and how that will walk through. But really good day, really great educational time of just picking his brain. He's a young guy working at the bank. He's a stud, and he's really, really helpful. So the next step, we're talking to our very wise, financially secure uncle on Saturday. We're going to be pitching him, and then from there we'll also be pitching a couple other people in the next couple weeks, and looking for that funding. And so I'm really excited for that Saturday conversation. I gotta finalize some more of the proposal and kind of make some edits off of the meeting today, and really look at, okay, what are we looking for, this is what we need, and this is why we need it, and then getting ready to present that. So yeah, it's been great. I am definitely tired. The long day, little sleep is catching up to me. I just napped for a couple hours there at a gas station, or about an hour. I fell asleep at a gas station, and I'm feeling good. I'm probably gonna work on the finances when I get back to the dorm. I'm liking this, like 4 hours on, 10 hours off, or 4 hours off, 10 hours on, and then like repeat. Get a lot of work done. But yeah, so just a little update there.